Hi everybody, we're going to take a quick look at the new style panel in Release 9. Everything that we're doing here applies to the free Manifold viewer as well. And what we're looking at here is a drawing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points that are shown in default gray formatting, the little gray dots. If you look at the drawings table, we see that each object, each point has a number from 1 to 5. We'll use that later for thematic formatting. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the style panel by clicking the Contents tab and choosing Style. And let's undock it, which will allow us to more room to show more menus here so they all fit into the size of this video. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the colors of these things. The new style panel is designed to allow you to do simple things very quickly and to hide the complexity of doing more complex things. It can do a lot of very complex things, so it's a good thing that it hides the complexity. What it shows us here is display controls for areas, for lines, and for points. Manifold drawings can mix areas, lines, and points within the same drawing, so there's area controls, line controls, and points controls for each drawing. Here on the right are controls which allow you to change one style property at a time very, very quickly. So for example, if we want to change color, we can change color like that, and it immediately changes. If we want to change size, we can change color, change the size like that, and the size immediately changes. That makes it very easy to do simple things very quickly. And the controls here are organized so on the right side are individual style controls that change just one style property at a time. That's stroke color, fill color, the symbol, the size of the pattern or the symbol, and the rotation. Lines don't have a rotation, so they don't rotate. The symbols are a little bit larger. The symbol buttons are a little bit larger because symbols can get fairly complex, and showing them in such small buttons as these would be a little bit small. On the left-hand side is the total style button, which shows what happens when you kind of pull all these individual styles together. It's kind of like a preview of what happens all at once. And when we click on this button, we get a set of more complex controls which allow us to change all these different parameters at once. Sometimes we want to do that. Sometimes we just want to change one parameter at a time. For example, like this, where we just want to change the style to bring it back to default gray. Let's choose a symbol. To do that, we will click here on the symbol, point symbol. We'll click on the point symbol dialog, and as you can see, there's a list version of the control and a grid version, which allows us to see more and more of the objects. There's 1,300 plus symbols here in the default menu that pops open. So it's good that we have this little filter button here that allows us to filter them by name. So we can enter fire, and everything that has fire, case not significant, in its name appears. Let's click on fire extinguisher, and right away the fire extinguisher symbol is selected. At 5 points it looks a little small, so let's change it to 40 points. We can change the colors on this. So for example, let's change the stroke color to red, and let's change the fill color to black, and that gives a nice display there. Here, if we like to do something more, and let's change the rotation. Let's change the rotation to 15 degrees. If we like to do something more sophisticated, what we can do here is in the symbol dialog, click on More, and that gives us more controls for working with symbols. The way symbols are put together is that you can pick one of the standard symbols here, or you can pick a more extended collection, for example a font, for example such as Font Awesome, or any of the other symbol fonts. So there's tens of thousands of symbols that you can get that way. The symbols here that are in the standard Manifold collection, 1,300 of them, have a stroke color and a fill color, so they're particularly easy and convenient to use. Down here are a variety of tools which enable you to change the look of a particular symbol by doing what are called optional extras. For example, they put little boxes around them, or halos, or in this case what we'll use is a drop shadow. And for the drop shadow, let's make that a black color. And in fact, let's make it a, get this kind of more on screen here. Let's make it a slightly lighter gray than black, so that it kind of looks like a drop shadow on the gray background without looking too black. And we'll make the angle, the offset angle, 150 degrees, not 135. And all that looks good, so I can click OK, and that will apply it. As you can see, what we've done here, we've applied that slightly different symbol option effect to the symbols, and the total style button shows all that at once. And right away, all that is updated on the screen display here. Let us now do some thematic formatting. And the way we'll do thematic formatting is we're going to pick the field that we want to thematic format, and we'll pick the red one right there. And then here we'll pick the field that we want to use for thematic formatting. We're going to use the number field. By default, it opened up with equal intervals and 6 breaks, which is pretty good. And let's use that. And let's choose a color brewer palette. We'll use the spectral palette, which there it is right there. And we'll click Update Style. And we've just done a thematic format where the stroke color is updated based on these colors here. You know, I think I'd like to make those lines a little bit thicker. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into the symbol line, and I'm going to change the stroke to 2. Stroke makes the outline, makes the fill color a little bit thicker. So I'll do that, and you can see right away they've all changed to that thicker color. And we haven't changed the thematic format at all. That there's a thematic format on the fill color is indicated by that little field icon right there. Let's do some more thematic formatting, and what we're going to do is we'll change the thematic formatting here, and what we'll do is we'll change the symbol. We'll change that by number. So let's take this symbol here. I'll double click into there, click more, and let's choose that kind of a first aid kit looking thing. And I'll double click into that, and what will we choose? Let's choose something else here. Let's well, something interesting. Okay, what do I want to use? Oh, let's use that. And here, let's do something else. Maybe some kind of building. Ah, there's building. And for this one, let's see if we can find an animal of some kind. Let's see, I don't want to use fish, just use a more interesting animal, like a cat or a horse or something like that, if we can find one. As you can see, it's kind of one of the issues here is finding so many. Oh, let's use a real estate for sale sign. And let's do something, last symbol here. There are just so many symbols here that it really helps to, let's, whatever that is, some kind of animal. I think it's a frog. Good enough. Click OK. Now click Update Style. And those are our symbols there. And there wasn't anything in number 6. There's only 5 of them, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's change the rotation to 0. So there's our 0 rotation, and let's play some more games. So you can see we can change these other factors. For example, we change here 20. Let's change that to 20, makes them smaller. Or let's change them to 48, that makes them bigger. And that doesn't change how the rest of the thematic formatting works at all. So this gives you a very fast workflow to change those things you want. Let's change the black fill color to transparent. And as you can see, that little drop shadow effect, it actually works whether or not, well, it works only on the visible parts of the symbol. So if we make some parts of the symbol invisible, the fill color works against those parts of it which are visible. Now what we can do is, if we like, is we can work here in the sort of the totalizer, the total style display, which looks a little bit goofy with all these very large symbols, but we can see about this one right here. Let's change that symbol, and what we will do is we will change the color there to black. So in this one case, we're going to change the transparent color to black. Let's click OK, and let's see what happens. Click Update Style, and as you can see, we've changed that one symbol, and we have not changed the other symbols. So that's just an example of how all this stuff happens and how it can be worked with, and how these different symbols can be applied with just incredible speed, and different manipulations of them. And we can either change one style property at a time, or we can change them all at once using this big combined dialog. I hope you've enjoyed this quick look at the new style dialog. There's way much more to look at. For example, how to do areas. Well, you know, I can't resist. Let's create an area. And let's change the style on that. So you can see it's kind of like the same drill. We have a wide variety of different possibilities that we can do. And here there's a whole bunch of styles with standard names that are taken from, as we graciously put it, a legacy, a GIS package. They're actually famous names from ArcGIS, I believe, or something like that. So if you're used to finding landmark or points of interest, there's certain standard things for airports or whatever. All those standard styles are there and named, and they're all immediately available let's change the lines here to thin lines, and let's change the rotation angle to 45 degrees. So there you go. That's a quick look at the style dialog. You can see it's possible to create all sorts of effects. There's literally tens of thousands of symbols you can use for point symbols, and an almost infinite number of combinations that you can use to create area and line symbols. We'll get into those in different videos, but for now, that's just a first look. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and goodbye from Manifold Land. Well, that was fun. If you want to see more, visit us at www.manifold.net. As always, Manifold delivers the world's most advanced, highest quality spatial products for GIS and DBMS at a low price that you can afford. Once again, that's manifold.net. See you soon.